Bring! It's the Corridor Cast. I was trying to do something musical, and as soon as it came out, I was like, that is the opposite of musical.
You went with
I was trying to channel my inner Sam and failed miserably. Today, we are joined by a very, very special guest. His name is Casey Faris, the DaVinci Resolve Master of the World.
Oh wow, that's a pretty hardcore title. I don't know if I would say that. That's wild.
All things Da Vinci, I should say. You are the Leonardo DiCaprio of the
the Leonardo DiCaprio of
I
the
meant to say
DaVinci.
Vinci. My bad.
Yes.
Yeah, so Casey,
I've been on a boat. That's close enough.
you have been chilling with us here at Corridor for the last 4 weeks. You're on your 5th week this weekend. It's your last week.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Along with your friends Dan and Sam. Jesus Christ, I'm having a morning. My words.
Wren got pushed in the head a couple too many times last night.
Take it off.
That was good though, man. You did good, bud. You did good.
Boy. So every once in a while, we have the wonderful opportunity of being able to work with other cool people from various forms of internet and filmmaking and video making. You know, like Wes was here for a while. We had Fenner here for a while. We had Mark here for a while. Casey, you've joined us for a few weeks here, and it's been really fun. And I'm not sure if everybody's familiar, but you have a wonderful YouTube channel that I've watched a bunch of videos on. Pretty much all of us have. You cover a lot of really important knowledge around DaVinci Resolve and Fusion.
Yeah.
And it's been really useful for helping us make the switch off of Adobe Premiere. And yeah, we've just been able to have Casey with us for a little while. What happened? What happened? Why did you reach out? What was the...
Okay, well, I mean, do you want the real story?
I want only the real story.
Okay, so the real story is, so me and the guys have been watching Corridor forever, for so long. And I think we shared a picture earlier of us meeting Sam and Niko back in 2014, I think.
At NAB.
At NAB.
Yeah, NAB. And
I think that may have been before I started going to NAB, and I feel like I've been going to NAB for a decade.
Yeah. And so here's the picture.
Oh my God.
And, so at this moment, what we're thinking is, man, we've been watching these guys for so long. We've loved your videos. And I mean, Dubstep Guns was such an influential video for me, and the one with the parkour SWAT team kind of people that just I love that video so much.
First person.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and so me and everybody we worked with, we would watch all the new videos when they come out, and we would just sit there and go, man, I want to make something cool just like that someday, you know. And so we got to meet you guys at NAB, and it was the most awkward thing ever. Because like at that point, I mean, it's right now. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second. But at that point, we just did some video production in our hometown, right? It's not like we were internet famous in any way. And so it's like, come up and say hi to you guys. And it's like, yeah, awesome. Cool. Yeah, we really like your videos. Cool. So you guys enjoying the show? Yep. Awesome. Well, we got to go. I remember that distinctly. I'm just like, gosh, it was so awkward. And I'm sure you guys don't remember it at all, but it was so funny. Because I don't know what I would do in your situation either, other than
we've had plenty of awkward. Like I've made it awkward so many times, and I cringe at all of them.
Yeah, it happens.
They stick with me.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you do? But I mean, it's an awkward thing anyway. It's just like I feel like I know you guys, and yet you don't have any idea who I am. I don't have anything I could like contribute to you really, other than saying thanks and then okay, bye. So anyway, so we met you guys back then, and ever since then, it's just been a slow scheme, a long con to become friends with you guys. And I don't think we've been we haven't been bashful about that at all, because like I said, I mean, you guys have just been so influential in what we do. And so when we started our company making tutorials, and I was thinking like, man, we could do VFX tutorials and stuff, and we could do stuff like Corridor. And there was a point a couple years ago, well, I say a couple, it was probably 5 years ago, where we went out to lunch and we realized that we've created a business model to where we can monetize making whatever movies we want, whatever videos we want.
Yeah.
And I kind of like realized this, and I sat the guys down for lunch and I was like, listen, we sell courses. And so all we have to do is sell a course on how to make this video that we want to make.
Right.
And we just paid for our filmmaking,
right?
Like, which nobody gets to do. Like, that's crazy. That's the dream. And I was like, guys, we just achieved the dream. And they're like, I don't know. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. And a lot of it has been because of what we see Corridor doing. And so you
basically just described the Corridor crew and Corridor digital channels.
Yeah.
Right there.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's just, this is how we can make a living doing this cool stuff. Right. And learning. Mm-hmm. And so that has been a huge thing. And so a couple years ago, once the channel's been around for about 10 years, like my channel, and it's been very slowly growing. And so eventually it's like, you kind of get to the point where it's like I don't know, it sounds weird, but like you're famous enough to like reach out to people who are like a little more famous than you. And so like, we kind of came to the point a couple years ago where I'm like, I wonder if they ever watch our videos, And so we talked with a friend, and they kind of introduced us and stuff, and then we got to come here last year, and I think one of you guys said, "You're like, oh yeah, we watch your videos all the time," and I'm like, and so we have like a behind the scenes vlog that we haven't done a whole lot with yet, but and it's just me going like just like having a mental breakdown. Like, wait a minute, these guys watch my videos? That's insane. Like, I just don't even know how to deal with that. And so ever since then, and then I saw Markiplier came and hung out with you guys, and I was like, maybe I could do that, like, I don't know. And so I kind of like reached out to Christian, just sort of as like, they're not going to go for this. Like, obviously, like, because you guys don't know, I feel like you don't understand that everyone wants to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's everyone wants to do this.
But it's a lot of hard work. Like, you didn't hang out and play video games. You've been working the whole time you've been
We tried to get them to hang out and play video games. They just wanted to work.
Yeah. It is a lot of work. But so I was like, yeah, I mean, we could come hang out and be friends and stuff for a few weeks. And then you guys actually said yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't really, I didn't think we would get that far. So we had to make plans and figure it out. But so anyway.
Like, oh, okay. When you're secretly kind of hoping the answer is no, just so you can have like the.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, that makes sense.
The anxiety go away.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it worked out, and a lot of things had to kind of line up and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and so here we are. And yeah, it's been a lot of work. It has been very fun, but also, dude, yeah, we've been really, I've been getting lots of sleep because like we come home and just like, like every night. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you mentioned us watching your videos, and that's mostly because we all made the switch to Resolve as like a team-wide editing program a few years ago, and you had easily the best tutorials out there for like just learning the software and getting into it. So it was like, by the time you came around, we're like, oh yeah, what's up, dude?
Yeah, which just I don't. That's so weird to me. So weird, but that's awesome.
You mentioned, by the way, being like this concept being just famous enough to like reach out to other people, and like I've totally felt that too. Yeah. But I feel like it's not being famous enough. It's being around long enough.
Sure.
Like, even if you don't get a lot of views, like if you've been making videos for like 10 years, like you're a seasoned professional. It's like it's one of those things that like just establishes you and like lets you approach other people, I think, with more confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you can have a viral video and still not really know what you're doing, and you just kind of got lucky. You can have 1 million followers or whatever, but it's just like, I don't know. In fact, you see that a lot with creators. It's like they have some big hit, and then they go like, I don't know what to do now, and they have like existential quandary. Yeah.
It's a legitimizing thing to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
How did you guys manage to be around for a long time? How did you build your online business? Not to turn this into like an entrepreneur podcast.
I love that stuff. I'll talk about any of that.
But yeah, like you did the thing. You guys did I'm gonna make my own videos and support myself with my own audience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, gosh. So we started. I got hired right out of. I went to community college for multimedia, and got hired right out of there for doing After Effects and working on a local TV show. And eventually kind of realized like, oh, these guys don't really know what they're doing. And I don't really either, but I know a little bit more, and so helped them edit videos and stuff. And we eventually got this show off the ground and got it onto like Discovery networks and stuff. And it was just like this grassroots thing that just like shouldn't really have worked, but it did. And it was an environment where you could, it was okay to fail. It was okay to make mistakes and just try stuff. And it was a lot of that, and I remember a lot of times where it's like, oh yeah, we need color correction, whatever that is, and I'm like, okay, I'll learn some of that, and did all the color wrong and sent it to Discovery. And they said, all your colors are messed up and they're illegal. And anyway,
illegal colors.
And that'll
colors.
be, yeah, that'll be
color
the QC
crime
process.
jail.
Man.
Yeah. And so it's like, that'll be $6,000 for new tapes when you don't have $1,000, And
Tapes.
so,
Wow.
yeah. So we're delivering on tape. And so it was like, oh gosh. And so it was a lot of that. And anyway, so I was starting to learn color correction through all of this. And that's about the time that Blackmagic bought DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah.
And it became accessible and there was a free version and stuff. And so we started doing our color in DaVinci Resolve and started out in Apple Color, which was fun, and Final Cut 7 and stuff like that. And that was wild. But anyway, so yeah, working on that and ended up putting out some color grading LUTs. This was really before this was right as the DSLRs were coming out. And so everybody was shooting in flat Rec 709 styles, basically CineStyle, that kind of thing. And nobody knew how to color grade anything.
Classic.
And so it's like, I hear this is great, and then, but don't know how to do anything. And so I learned how to do that through a lot of tour de force kind of stuff and just failing a lot. And I put up some color grading LUTs that basically just took CineStyle and made it look decent. And it wasn't a proper color transform at all. It was just looks better than it did.
Yeah, just a handmade.
Yeah.
Make it look pretty.
Yeah, it made it look good. And we had some kind of stat counter on our website, and we figured out that like, wow, like a couple thousand people downloaded this month. And I was like, that's really interesting. And so we put up a couple more on, and this is on the website for the TV show, basically. So like, it's not a video production website, and did a blog thing. And then some colorists kind of looked at that and were like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And ended up when the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera came out, that was the first camera that I could really afford that shot any kind of proper signal,
Yeah.
So I got that, and I was like, oh, I know how to color correct this, and
that era of 8-bit when like nothing could be color corrected for real except for people who like shot on Alexa or Red.
Yeah.
But everything else is just like, no.
Yeah.
And then the Blackmagics came along.
Yeah. And that was a really cool time. And so I made this little website and was like, hey, here's the LUTs that I use. I made like an ebook for the Pocket Cinema camera, which was just my thoughts on it, basically. And it sold a lot, but a lot of people didn't like it because they got it and they're like, this is terrible. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's all I got.
An ebook, man. I just made it.
Yeah. So yeah. And I kind of, I don't know. I've always thought it'd be cool to have my own business and stuff. And ended up making a pack of color grading LUTs for Blackmagic camera that had a color transform and a style in it. And there wasn't really anything like that at that point. There was like one other company that was doing it, but it wasn't really the same. And yeah, ended up starting Ground Control, and we sold color grading LUTs and made packs for GoPro and a bunch of cameras. And basically when there would be a new fancy camera that came out, we would rent it and then shoot a bunch of stuff, and then I would color grade it and then just export it all as LUTs and sell it as a pack of LUTs. And
Ground Control, that's what it was called?
Yeah.
Wait,
I think we got that.
we have
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, I think we have that.
You said it, and I was like, that's like, I was thinking in my head, I was like, that's really familiar.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah. So
I didn't like.
So I've been color grading your videos for a long time, I guess. That's weird.
Yeah.
So, where was the transition where you started actually making tutorials?
That was right about that time too, because I think one of my first tutorials was Like my first video was just videos of my cats with this camera. Because like that was like when Philip Bloom was really big, and he would always take videos of his cats for like camera tests and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll do some of that. And then, I did a video on how to color grade Blackmagic footage. And then it got on like No Film School and a bunch of blogs and stuff. And pretty soon I had a few thousand followers on YouTube and subscribers on YouTube. And I was like, oh, dang, is this a thing? You know?
That initial burst of validation, we're like, oh, maybe I can do this.
There is an audience. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. And so, eventually that became to where, you know, it went from a side hustle to like, oh yeah, you know, I get a couple $100s a month to like, I'm making more doing this than at my real job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I'm making a lot more of this than doing my real job. And I'm like, I could probably hire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I actually got approached by somebody who's working for a nonprofit, and they do mental health for the music scene, for concerts and hard rock concerts and metal concerts and stuff like that. And I'd always wanted to be active with some kind of nonprofit, and they said, you know, hey, we would love for you to help us with video production. I said, great, that'd be awesome. They're like, the only thing is we can't pay you. Like we don't have
Cool.
We don't really have any money. But I was like, well, I really like your cause and everything. And they're like, yeah, what you can do is you can raise your own funds and everything, and kind of like a missionary sort of thing, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't really want to do that, but I'm like, I do have this passive income that I can just kind of ride on while I work for you guys until you can pay me. And they're like, sounds good to us, you know? And so me and Dan decided to leave the TV show we were working for and start our own company, basically to just make enough videos to survive and to keep the business afloat and to work for this nonprofit. And so that was 2015. That's when we did that.
So that was a year after you guys met.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of, and then it's grown from there, from making color grading LUTs, and we branched out and did sound effects. We sold sound effects packs. We even made this like camera gear. It's a double zip pocket that organizes your batteries and your cards into like green and red. So like good cards that you can shoot on, and red cards that are already shot on and you shouldn't format, you know? And my mom made those and stuff. And so it was really this kind of like, just super wholesome kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of doing all of that stuff half-time, and then we were working for the nonprofit half-time and going to concerts and talking to people about mental health and that kind of thing. And so, yeah. And since then, it's like we're on the board for the nonprofit, but we don't do video production for them. They do other stuff. And then we're more full-time on our company, and we have 5 employees, and we're doing mostly training, and we stopped selling color grading LUTs, and we're focused more on Resolve, and now more recently more on Fusion. Anyway, so that's my whole life story as far as that stuff goes.
So how long have you known Dan?
Since probably 2012 or so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dang.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's crazy.
Yeah, because Dan's been chilling here a lot, a little bit more behind the scenes work, but yeah, it's been fun getting to know all you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam came down a couple weeks after you guys did, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys all like work together in the same sort of studio up in Oregon?
Yeah, so we all work together in our studio. I have a studio on my property, and it's just like it's very similar to what you guys have. It's a little smaller, but similar kind of feeling.
Hell yeah.
And then we have a couple people who work remotely as well.
What kind of stuff do you guys do when you're not making tutorials and teaching people how to use software?
We're working on films, on short films most of the time. Yeah, doing something like that. And
what kind of stuff are you into? Like, what kind of short films do you like to make?
Sci-fi mostly.
Yeah.
Really like sci-fi. Yeah, lasers and spaceships and
very
and that kind of thing.
visually non-intensive.
Yeah.
Visual effectsy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Classic.
So a lot of that.
Very easy to do.
I've loved sci-fi my whole life, and I watched alien abduction shows when I was way too young to be watching those, and I was scared of aliens my whole life. And, and so yeah, the guys have to talk me out of making another movie with a spaceship all the time. You know?
Yeah.
So
Good luck.
yeah. So our first movie that we really like put a lot of work into, well, our second movie was about a crashed spaceship out in the woods and stuff, and that was just a dream come true for me to fund that and to go out and actually do it and stuff.
Yeah.
And
That's
just
awesome.
So much fun, man.
So you've gotten to know us a little bit, being out here at Corridor for a few weeks. But what are some things about like Corridor itself, our studio, like how we run things, the space itself? What are some things that you learned, I guess, for the first time having come out here?
Yeah. Okay, so overall, it's funny because the way you guys work is pretty much just how we work, but with more people. We felt very at home, very natural here. We're like, oh yeah, this is just how we do stuff at home, But the thing that really, really stuck out to me is how experimental you guys are. Like, you're not afraid. A couple things. These guys are not afraid to jump into stuff that they don't know anything about and to try it out, which is why you guys make such cool stuff. It's always the product of all of that research, and getting into those things. And you're also not afraid to work hard. You're not afraid to apparently do roto all the time, because that's I feel like all I've been doing since I've been here. Just shoot stuff and then just like, we'll just roto it later. And it's like, why would you do it that way? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm officially on board with like it feels easier just to rotoscope a person out of a shot than to do all the green screen work on top of setting up the green screen.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, obviously we have a big one set up already, but like you got to set up the lights, you got to do all this stuff. And it's like, or you could just shoot it in the spot and then just remove them from the shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
These days, like, especially with I know you started using RotoBrush 3 in After Effects.
Yeah.
I know it was like, you were kind of like, ew, touching Adobe. But yeah, I at least on people where it's really trained on it, it's so fast. You can rotoscope a person have a shot of several mini seconds in like 5 minutes flat. And
Yeah. It depends on the situation, but yes, there have been moments where I've rotoscoped things and it's beautiful, and then there's other shots that I've spent a couple days on, and that's how it is.
So there's more rotoscoping at Corridor than you expected.
More than I thought. Yes.
One of my earliest videos on my personal channel on YouTube, I put it out in like 2009. It was basically just a shot of me walking into my bedroom over and over and over again behind myself. So it was like a clone shot moving through, like you can see me walking down the hallway, then into my room as I flash on screen like 1 or 2. It was real dumb and cringy, so don't pull it up.
We're going to pull it up.
But it took me about 40 hours of rotoscoping to do this like 12-second shot.
Goodness.
And this was like when I was learning After Effects and I was learning how to use masks and just the workflow on that. Like, so I remember going back and like looking at it. No, not this shot. It wasn't this one.
It's still great though.
I think it's called like octuplet something, because there are 8 of us. I forget. It's stupid.
Don't pull it up. It's called octuplet.
God dang it. No, that's also one of my earliest ones.
All right,
That's not
let's
it
watch
either.
this one. It's here. Oh, come on.
I did this in like Sony Vegas.
Dude.
Sony Vegas.
Dude, I started editing in Sony Vegas.
Oh my God, you're bringing out the memories.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, Octo-Wren, that's the one.
Octo-Wren.
On the bottom right there. God dang it. I even have that freaking demon face.
Yeah.
No, don't look at this.
2, 3, 4.
Oh my
God. 90s Wren.
Dude, look at that.
the shark tooth necklace.
Shark tooth necklace. You have to.
Why?
Yes.
Dude, that was...
What a cool guy.
Separate long sleeve underneath.
Oh, I still do that.
But it was also
Yeah,
just
dude.
one shirt. It was just designed that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They sold them that way.
That's so funny.
Dude, that's good work, though.
Octo-Wren.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it
I
looks
want to say
good.
that was like 40 hours of work. Just masking, just
Oh
frame by.
my
And so, like, I
gosh.
remember going back and looking at the project file years later. My first mask was one mask that went around every contour
Oh,
of my
yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And it was animated on every single frame.
So
Because
you-
every frame had something that needed to change.
So that's about the time you started drinking. That's about right. That's
was
about
college.
right.
Oh, you got. I hope that music's not coming through.
It's not coming to this feed.
Okay, cool. Because it's copywritten.
Wow. Octo Wren. Nice. Dude, this took way too long to make.
Those old titles.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. When did that come out? What date did that come out? June 2009. So almost 16 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, and then like the second and third clones that come through have like multiple masks, like one for the arms, one for the head,
Yeah.
one for the body.
You learned quick.
As if anyone watched our rotoscoping react short the other day that Niko brought out, it was a lot of that. You see a lot of just shapes on different portions of the thing, so you can have an
Yeah.
easier time animating. By the end, I had like a really efficient mask. So I always consider stuff like that to be like the best way to learn a tool, is just to like give yourself kind of something kind of stupidly challenging and a
Yes.
lot of just needless work, because
Yes.
you will just naturally find the most efficient way to get through it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
the rotoscoping segment that got clipped for a short has 5 million views.
It's up to 5?
Dang,
5
that's
million.
Dang,
crazy.
dude. Dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like it's funny because part of what I do a lot is obsess about how to teach people
Right.
these tools that are really intimidating, right? And how to get people to learn better and how to learn better of myself. And I think doing that kind of project is what's like foundational to learning, right? Because I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I gotta land this really cool job with this really fancy project, in order to learn how to do this skill. And it's really like, set something up with your phone. Like it's do something really basic and try and do it really well.
Yeah.
Because like that's
It's
how
really
I learned. The way that I learned After Effects was binging out Andrew Kramer tutorials and then going out with my mini HDV camera and shooting stuff and then bringing it in and capturing it and everything it was in standard definition, and just trying to do stuff and masking things and that kind of thing. I didn't even have internet at my house.
Oh, wow.
So I bought all this stuff on DVD and like I didn't have any fancy fonts or anything, and so I was just like Arial Black everything, And so that's how I learned After Effects, was just over a summer of just trying really hard with my DV camera. Yeah, it was fun.
I remember like in our early days, we would just try to replicate a shot from like The Matrix. It's just
Yeah.
like, Neo shooting his gun. We'd try to do the exact same thing, match the muzzle flash, the colors, the lighting.
Yeah.
And like that's how we practice our muzzle flashes. So just truly like frame by frame matching it to a real movie with the real muzzle flash.
Yeah, that's a
good
great way to
practice.
do it. That's awesome. Yeah.
What's something? So you told me something that you didn't expect about Corridor, which is that we do more rotoscoping than you think. And what's something that you expected that turned out to be true?
I expected that you guys have a lot of fun and that there's a lot of ideas and everything going around. And yeah, that's about right.
I feel like that was low-hanging fruit, Niko.
I'm just curious what
I
like
think
a
you guys
reputation
have a lot
is.
of fun. Well, we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes.
yeah, fair.
It comes
I get what you're saying.
What's our stereotype that turns out to be true?
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
What has been the most surprising thing that you're disappointed in?
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Bringing it hard, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what's something like...
I'm going to tell you how
oh,
I'm disappointed
okay.
in you guys. All right. Now, I don't know. Gosh, what a question.
Okay, what's something that you find that we do bizarre in that it doesn't make sense to you? Like, I guess there's a reason behind that madness, but I don't get it.
Ooh, this can. All right. Do you really want to know?
Smash Brothers.
So something.
I'm trying to fish for the Smash Brothers
Okay.
answer. Not really, but...
All right. No, I think it's great you guys do Smash Bros. I think it's a reasonable amount of time doing Smash versus doing work for the most part.
That's some good validation there.
I did hear Sam come out and get on you guys the other day on that, which was kind of funny. But
I think that was because they had started playing at like 11,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
started
you
a
get
little
here at
early.
10:45 and start at 11. It's like you guys haven't even turned on your computers. But that's all right. You gotta play. I think it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's interesting the way that things are organized, like with how projects are managed. For instance, like having one person in charge of a project, which seems like typically how you guys do it, and they kind of see it through to the end. It makes sense in a lot of ways, and it is different than how we do things, in that we have people who are specialized in certain departments, right? And so, if we're going to make a film of some kind, then, we have somebody who typically writes it. One of us typically writes it, and one of us typically edits it and does the original edit and then does the final edit. And, and I always do color and effects, and Sam always does sound and music. And so it's like always one of us for the most part. And then we all kind of like do it together like that, which I know is slightly easier with a smaller team too. But I was curious, like, have you guys considered doing that kind of thing where people like kind of specialize a little more?
That was how we used to do it. That was how we did it for years.
Why the change?
Expanded the team, and we just needed more content. And so it was kind of born out of necessity, where it's like, at least before we like scaled up and really started focusing on the crew channel as like our sort of primary thing, it was making the Corridor films on Corridor Digital every 2 weeks. And the Sam and Niko content at the time, before there was the Corridor crew channel, was all about supplementing that with behind the scenes material. And so the priority was kind of opposite. And so sometimes we'd have one project we'd all be working on together.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor, for instance. That was an all hands on deck type project where, you and Sam co-direct it, but you kind of like, Sam and Niko have a very, very unique sort of co-directing skill set.
Okay, what does that mean?
A lot of snappy talking.
No. These guys can like telepathically tell each other what to do, and they just do it.
We do that too.
And they work really well together in that regard. And so they're able to like split the workload in two ways, where it's like Sam will like be operating the camera where Niko will be like directing the actors. And sometimes they'll have a disagreement, but they'll usually come around to just trusting each other that like, all right, I know he's going to make the best decision possible. I'm going to just focus on my decision. And it usually works out. There are times where you argue, but in the last several years, not like I used to see it.
It's always in pursuit of like the best shot too.
Sure.
And we'd reach the end and be like, all right, let's move on.
And then like it would go to editing. A lot of this would come from like we all could individually make a complete short film. Like we all, when I say we, I'm talking about like Sam, Niko, myself, Nick, a few of the others who were here in the early days. We all kind of like knew how to like, all right, write a thing, shoot the thing, edit the thing, and do all the polish work from color grading, visual effects, and sound design, music, and then of course the publishing side of it. Like,
of course, it's extra magical if you could also do visual effects.
And that was the other thing, and it's like that was the whole thing that set Corridor apart, was that like we had started like coming together as these people who could do those visual effects.
Yeah.
On top of shooting, editing, etc.
But yeah, and so those were like fewer projects per year compared to what we do now on the crew channel. A lot more short films per year than we do now, but. Yeah, and so that was like, we'd all focus on, on Shadow of Mordor, I did all of the blood simulation visual effects.
Yeah.
Sam, I can't remember if it was you or Sam who did the primary editing, but Sam did a lot of the visual effects in that short as well. We had a lot of extra help, and I'm just using this as a random example from 11 years ago.
Wow.
Weird to think. And since then, YouTube kind of changed how they incentivize content. From it used to be just make a viral video. If it got a lot of views, that was monetizable. But then it turned into watch time, and you had to make more content.
Sure.
And that was kind of when the crew channel started, because it's like we had to put out more minutes per month.
Yeah.
And we figured out a way to do it that was entertaining.
Yeah, and byproduct of that too is that like the more stable lifestyle and career choice is to have a consistent audience that's smaller than like a viral audience that's bigger.
Yeah.
Like having 100,000 people watching your show once a week is far more valuable to like you for your career and like making a living as an artist than it is like catching 10 million random people virally once a month.
Yeah.
It's like the other one gets you some notoriety to some extent. But
well, I mean, if you're getting that once a month, that's pretty good.
Is a lot, yeah.
Maybe like a couple times a year.
But you still need a returning audience. Like, you need the actual audience. You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're comparing it to like a consistent 100,000 versus like 1 million or 10 million like once or twice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And that was the byproduct of like the watch time shift that YouTube kind of pushed. Is like it made us change our style of filmmaking and our video production to facilitate having a more consistent audience also.
Yeah.
And like we still do the corridor stuff that we like to do. It's not as frequent as it used to be, but it's not that infrequent either. We put out like 8 or 9 shorts last year, you know?
And so, like, to summarize the sort of pipeline you've come into and seen here is a relatively recent sort of thing. We kind of started it last year, the sort of parallel team workflow. And that's because now we're at a point where literally we've got like 4 or 5 full-time editors, but each one of those people knows how to shoot, knows the whole process.
Yeah.
Even visual effects, they can do full-on like renders and stuff now. And it's like, so each one of these people also are very good and seasoned at this point, because we're all experienced at coming up with ideas for a video. And that's honestly the biggest thing, is that like you just have to have an idea, and we all have the skill set to turn that idea into a reality. And so the thing we've been trying to work on is just trying to have good ideas. The videos come with it.
Yeah. That's it's definitely something that comes across. Is there's lots of good ideas coming around, and thing that I thought was interesting is, like, I mean, we had a brainstorm meeting a couple weeks ago, and there were just like 5 or 6 like fantastic ideas, and everybody with the best intentions, and I think the best outlook and attitude that you can have shooting somebody's idea down is just like, yeah, but how would we make people care about that? It's like, I don't know. Okay, well, let's think about something else then. It's like, okay, and it's just like, but like the ones that come out of that are really great, and so I think that's a cool practice to have, and knowing that everybody has the best intentions in mind. I don't know. It's cool to be in an environment like this and to see so many creative people that, I mean, like you said, I mean, one person, any one person can do so many things here and is so talented. And so that's one of the big reasons why we wanted to come out. And because just like, I know that just hanging out with people that like this kind of stuff and are super into it, like I've learned so much, just little things that's even hard to grasp, just by like being near Dean, and like,
don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah. You like hanging out with homeless people?
Not Dean, but and I was next to Wren, and he was there too. And
don't let him hear you say that either.
Just kidding. Yeah.
What did he say?
Nothing. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's been so great just to absorb the knowledge by osmosis in some ways. Yeah. And we learned how to blow things up the other day.
Say you did get to learn how to make some explosives.
Yeah. Yes. So there'll be a lot more violence happening in my movies. So.
You did kind of come at a relatively active time period. Yeah. We had a lot of different projects, kind of like a lot of very physical projects happening all in the last few weeks. We had the 3D printing stuff going on. I know Dan was stuck in a room basically putting together prints for like 4 straight days. So I'm sure that was a little soul-crushing.
Can we talk about the 3D print?
We can talk about anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
This weekend.
It's coming out this weekend.
Okay.
3D printed stop motion film.
So somebody coming in on this late in the game, all right? This movie that's coming out this weekend is so awesome. I mean, it's one of the coolest things I've seen in a really long time. You guys are going to love it.
Get hyped.
But this is one of those ideas that, like, in the pitch meeting, I would have been like if I were in charge of it, I'd be like, we should not do that. Like, we shouldn't do that. That's a lot of work. Like, that's an insane amount of work.
We said that.
Multiple times.
We said that. We did. We shot it down.
Everybody gets this wild card, where it's like, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I must do it. And you're like, okay.
I must do this.
Yeah. It's one of those things we are all like this. Yeah. And I think we'd actually shot this idea down multiple times over the years.
Wow.
Like, this is not like the newest idea. But it was one of those where Daniel just kind of started becoming really passionate about this idea. He really wanted to tell this story specifically about like this guy and his dog, and the dog saving the guy, and all this stuff.
Dude,
And
it's
he really wanted to,
so good.
and so it's like, okay, there's a much easier path to do this video.
Yes.
It's like this video could very easily just be like, I 3D printed a single animation, and there's like a single liquid or cloth simulation, and it was 3D printed, and we can do the entire video about that.
Yeah.
And it would be the same, kind of, superficially the same Corridor Crew video. But Daniel really wanted to do this project this way.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, all right, all right.
But you know, it's like he's been working.
And it's gonna be sick.
Nights.
It's gonna be
He's been
sick.
working weekends. He's been working on it since December.
The project folder on the server
Yeah, it says
is in
November.
August.
It's August of
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
August. Yeah. Goodness.
Man,
That was when he started the project.
Yeah.
Granted, he was just kind of like touching on it behind the scenes for several months. It wasn't until like really like November and December that like he actually started making progress on like the physicality of it, because it was the whole system. He had to literally model all of this stuff from scratch to a degree, build these systems to make things more efficient, just to make it possible to do it all.
Yeah, these videos are a treat. Savor this video. You
Totally.
only get these once a year.
Yeah.
I will say Daniel went and got the partnership for it and everything. He really wanted to make this happen. So this is going to be a sick one this weekend.
Yeah.
Fantastic video. I just can't believe I get to be part of it.
I
It's
think about
so
once
cool.
a year, somebody on the team is like, I have to make this thing. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, their video comes out.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets a month or so. But every once in a while, somebody pulls a 3-monther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic story. And so just, it's adorable. It's so many little Wrens though. I'm Wren, I like you, but I'm sick of looking at little versions of you.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So didn't Dan got thrown into the room of having to clean prints, right, and put them together?
Yeah, because it's like it is an efficient workflow, separating all the pieces onto separate print beds so that you can use one color filament to do that whole, say, the t-shirt, and then a separate filament to do the head, and separate filament to do the hair. But then you have to like clean up all the support material. You have to like burn off all the little strings and stuff like that, and you have to snap them together. And if they don't snap together fine, you then have to glue them or cut pieces to get them to fit. And it's like there's a bit of a process.
Yeah. Every single frame is a model kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of them.
Yeah. Like
Thousands.
when we got
Not
here,
thousands.
Hundreds. Frames.
when we got here, he was explaining this to us, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and then you just like you put together this model kit, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "And then all of those," and I was like, "What are those?" And he's like, "Hundreds more of model kit. You designed a model kit.
He
for
designed a model
each-
kit factory.
Yeah, Daniel's really into Gundams.
Yeah.
just crazy."
Yeah.
Like just crazy, and it snaps together like, and half of it doesn't even need glue or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just genius.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
It's so cool.
Oh, by the way, for this 3D printing video, all of the little mini Wrens from that video are going to be sold on the store. So if you're watching this weekend, this Sunday, if the video is out, hopefully it's out. All of the little Wrens will be listed. We're going to have a final count and price on that, which is to be decided. We don't exactly know.
Store.
We're still trying to
There's
wrap
like
up the video.
200 little
I
Wrens
think
for
it's at
sale,
least 200.
right? Yeah.
But not a whole lot more than that.
And
So
they're
we're
all
going to put them up
signed?
on the store. They're all going to be signed. I've yet to do any of that, so I'll be signing them next week. And we'll figure out how to ship them to you, and hopefully they don't get too broken. I don't think that's going to be something we can guarantee, but if they do break, it's super easy to fix with super glue. So
Believe me,
just
we've
saying.
been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, so we're it's our way to try to not waste all of them, because otherwise if we kept them
Heck
here,
yeah, baby.
some of them would go up on a shelf and the rest would go in the trash, and it's like, well, you know who would probably appreciate getting these? Viewers. But it's not going to be a whole lot. So it's going to be a very limited run, of course. We're not going to be making more of these, so if you want to get them, check them out on, I guess we'll be on quarterdigital.store.
Yeah.
Yep.
There'll be a link in the video. So when the video goes live and you want to get one of those prints, as soon as the video goes live, click that description, open up that link.
Buy a little figurine. A production used figurine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'll be able to, and most of them are labeled pretty accurately, so you
Own a
can
piece
figure
of
out
Corridor
which
history.
part of the video that single print is from.
Dan asks, as a collective, how do you all help preserve the team's health when taking on these kind of massive projects? So for one, there's Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
but not everybody plays Smash
For
Brothers.
sure.
But for those of us that do, Smash Brothers is great. I don't know. For me, I think it's variety.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Variety. I get cabin fever if I work on the same project for too long. One of my favorite projects I ever worked on was anime self-driving cars.
Oh.
And that was a project I worked on for 3 straight months.
It's one of those 3-monthers we were talking about.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my passion project. It was Sam's passion project that he immediately pieced out on because he had a kid.
Oh, that's right.
This was when Gideon was born. And it was like...
That's called delegation, sir.
And granted, like he did all of this work on the video, and then he was out, and I basically spent an entire month by myself just rendering out all of these shots he had designed for the video. I was so done with the video by the end of it. Granted, it was a very satisfying project to work on. I'm very proud of a lot of those shots in that video. But it was just like, at the end, I was like, I don't ever want to see another CG car in my life.
Yeah.
And there are times where I kind of experienced burnout over the years where it's like, I'm just kind of doing this one thing for too long. And like Niko says, the best way to kind of get out of that is to just work on different types of things.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of my projects hit a full range from like, we're going to do a visual effects deep dive type thing versus a very manual project that requires tons of 3D printing and iterating and experimenting.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do an explainer video. It's like I like bouncing between these different types of things because it kind of just it
keeps it
it's
fresh.
a way to keep it fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's I tend to follow. I'm like a little goat with a carrot hanging in front of me, where it's like, and that carrot is just passion. I will just follow whatever I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And if I'm not that passionate about it, it's hard to go that direction still.
Yeah, it gets you in trouble.
And so every now and then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to put a new carrot on the string. And it's like, oh, I can go this way. It's a different type of carrot this week, but I'll keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you need that carrot.
Yep. That's strategic. I like that.
Yeah, variety. That's all that matters. That and like not working too hard on every single project. Like if you do a crazy project where you pull late nights, don't do it again for the next project. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
chill out on the next one.
Learning
Yeah.
which projects are the ones you put all the points into.
Yeah.
And there have been many times where I didn't really fully understand how to do that.
Yeah.
And I was pouring all my points into all of the projects.
Yeah. That's how you get burnout.
Yeah.
That's
But every
easy
now and then
recipe.
it's like, it's going to be worth it though. And that's why I never really complain about doing the long hours or whatever, because it's like, it's on me at the end of the day. I chose to put in these long hours on the video.
Yeah.
No one's forcing me to do this.
It's
Yeah.
like time passes regardless, you know? So it's like I have a week. It's like I could get this done. If I really wanted to, I could get it done and then it'd be out and it'd be done. It's like it sounds better than like other things and like then just go for it.
And then there are times where it's like, this will be worth it to do, but it's not worth my health.
Right.
Yes.
And so those are the situations that are kind of tricky because that means it's worth delaying the video, but that's not a sustainable thing to do. So you have to like kind of pick and choose when it's worth doing that because the other alternative is just kind of like pull back on the idea a little bit, make it a little less ambitious.
Make it more doable.
Make it more doable. It's like, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is finishing the thing.
Yes. That's what's crazy is it's so easy because I mean the sky's the limit when you're making up your own thing, right? And so scoping it so that it actually gets done, because the thing is, if it's not done, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gets to look at your half-done project.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's not that great, you know?
Yeah, but you know, we have enough videos out that like demonstrate like the time spent on a project does not equal like views or really even emotional connection. It's like
There's
length
not
of
a
time.
huge correlation between views and how much work went into a video.
Yeah, granted, you know, your video can't just be garbage. So you have to pass that threshold of like it's a watchable video first and foremost.
Yeah.
So there's that length of time that's required, but like, it's way more about like just delivering a message. Like, does the video do what it needs to do to deliver the message? And some videos take more time to do that, and it's worth delivering that message. But you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that more time spent means more reach, more impact, more views, a better video.
Okay, so on that, I have a question for you guys then. When you're making videos, there's long hours. There's no guarantee whether people are going to watch it. The amount of people that you want to watch it are going to watch it, whether you're going to get another sponsorship or whatever like physical, I don't know, business reasons, clout reasons or whatever to make a video is. So why do you make a video? Like what's underneath it for you guys? Like why do you spend time and energy doing this when there's no guarantees?
Well, there's different layers of videos, right? Like there's VFX artists React. Like I enjoy doing VFX Artist React quite a bit, but VFX Artist React also sustains the business in so many ways.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like I'm happy to sit on the couch and spend some hours talking about visual effects and some hours doing research before sitting on the couch to talk about visual effects. I'm happy to do that if it means that Corridor Digital gets to run. You know, it's like, regardless of whether or not I actually enjoy doing it, like that's not a big ask.
Exactly.
Sure.
You know,
there are times where I'm like, I really am not in the mood to do React today, but then I'm like, I also kind of have the best job in the world, so I can suck it up a little bit. It's not that big a deal. And then I sit down, I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy this.
Yeah, it's a good time. You know, it's like, sure, it's like sometimes you're like, it's energy, and like, you know, you have to turn on for the show, and like, but whatever, it's not that big of a deal. It's, you know, you're sitting on the couch with your buddies. It's basically a podcast, but then it has just really high effort editing afterwards.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, when it comes to like corridor videos, like that's usually either A, because we just like making videos. That's why we're here. We're filmmakers, you know, and we just, why do it if you can't do it, you know?
Yeah.
There's also like a billion intangible benefits to making like those kind of videos because we don't make any money off of narrative shorts. You know, you can like, and you're probably in the same boat, you know, in the sense that like people aren't like paying you $10 to watch your narrative shorts. You know, it's on YouTube and it gets views and you get auxiliary stuff off of it, which is great. But making like a cinematic, like an art piece, you know, a cinematic film, a narrative film, a documentary film, whatever it is, generally speaking, it gets you a ton of experience. It gets your voice out there as an artist. It helps you develop yourself as an artist. It brings you new ideas. It's like, you're not just somebody in the middle of the pack that's filtering what everybody else is doing. You're somebody at the front of the pack inventing new stuff. And not all of it hits, you know, but sometimes it does. And then people are like, oh, cool, you made that. Nobody else has ever made that before.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a really cool feeling.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just need to stay somewhat consistent with it and like be out there trying things. And, you know, for us, I think here, like same with like the Corridor Crew channel, there's plenty of videos on there that are not us trying to make an art piece or trying to go out there and do some crazy new thing. But there are videos on there that are us trying to do some cool documentary thing or experiment or whatever. And, you know, yeah, you got to kind of keep that alive and keep that balance. And we're just lucky that we have something like React that keeps the lights on, so to speak.
Sure.
While we can do that other stuff and be experimental, but just knowing how experimental we can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I lost the thread of where that conversation started, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Well, like, as far as like expecting views, you can never expect views. The moment you expect a certain number of views is when you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
And there have been times where I'm like, oh, this video is so good.
Gonna
it's going to
pop
blow
off.
up.
Oh,
People are
man.
going to love it.
Yeah.
And I've been there just enough times, and every now and then I still get there and I know better. But
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, yeah, people are going to love this. It's going to do well. And then it pops off and it's like below average.
Yeah.
Or even if
You're like,
even if
"This
it's
video
right
was
at average, you're like,
okay."
okay.
Spent 4 months on this and it's okay.
Yeah, and so I've gotten pretty good at just kind of separating myself from that feeling.
Yeah.
But also even like a poorly performing video in that regards is still getting lots of views.
Yeah.
Like Superposition, like the second gray matter
Uh-huh.
piece I did, like I'm so proud of it. I think it's such a sick piece. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to and everything.
Hell yeah.
I think it has like 400,000 views, 300-something thousand views, which is like, compared to everything else on our channel, it's like, you know, 1 million is the average. So it's
Yeah.
like, ugh. But
Yeah,
at the same
that's
time,
a
it's
weird
like,
perspective.
that's
guys-
also like 8 stadiums of people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all packed,
Yeah.
every seat watching the video, you know, like at the same time. It's like, that's a lot of people. So, you know, it's like that, even 1,000 people is a lot of people.
It's
So-
there's always that weird disconnect when it comes to like thinking of it that way, because
Yeah.
it's like usually our metric is 1 million views. It's like a video is successful if it hits 1 million views.
Yeah.
Not that the ones that don't hit it are unsuccessful, but it's like that's the sort of like threshold where it's like, all right,
Yeah,
pat
good
yourself
job.
on the
We
back.
did it, guys.
That was
Yeah.
Turns out we know what we're doing. You know, it's like one of
Yeah.
those feelings.
And because it's just such an easy threshold, but at the same time, so it's like, yeah, 400,000 on Superposition, but you can't really judge it by that same criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love doing it. I love being able to just work on the things that I'm interested in. And so even if they were not really getting views, as long as I was able to continue doing it as my job, that would be okay.
Yeah.
Granted, from a personal standpoint, a huge point of it is being able to get that sort of knowledge that people are watching it. You know,
Yeah.
as an artist, that is very satisfying and gratifying. to know that people are appreciating your work.
Yeah.
And seeing it and then getting those. I love reading the comments on videos. It's like, I want to see what people think. I do stuff to get reactions out of people.
Yeah.
That is literally my personality.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very fulfilling thing to read the comments on a video when it goes up. Like, that's a big reason why we do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a wild thing to think that you can make something that you like. And I think about these kind of things a lot. Like, you can make something that you like and you can just upload it to a website and people watch it on purpose. They go out of their way to watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you made something and you showed it to your friend, you would be excited if they liked it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And you're in a position,
I've been there.
and you're in a position now where it's like, gosh, it got 800,000 people watched this on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, what could we do to make this a little better? It's like, what a wild thing to.
And it's like that sort of personality switch is driven purely by business.
Yeah.
It's like, it's now a numbers game trying to sustain a business.
Yeah.
And that's the emotional side is like, God dang, that is a lot of people. But the business side is like, okay, that was enough to pay for one employee for this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got more than a dozen left to do for this week.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, maybe try to get those views up.
Yeah. Come on,
hurts.
people. Come on.
Never hurts. Never hurts to get the views up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trick is to not try too hard pursuing the views.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's easy to lose sight of why people are there.
Yeah. You got like, in all our years with various like YouTube reps who have like shown us analytics and like, explained the algorithm and like what's happening, because they're talking to, so many different YouTube channels. There's this undercurrent of like, you need to like listen to the audience. And people are like, yeah, I get it. It's like, no. You need to listen. Like, put your ear to the ground and like listen to that audience. See how people are flowing through the videos and what topics and like what vibes and what styles are just like gripping people in this moment. And like find that zeitgeist, find the like that inner thread, like it's pulling people to the world of motion picture right now, as opposed to video games or VR or books or podcasts. Like, why are people here to watch this? Like, what's pulling people in? And it's like getting into like that deep, like listening to the audience thing is tricky. And that's where growing your views through that can be really beneficial, because you're really kind of staying with the evolution of the art form, like figuring out what people want and are looking for and are interested in.
Yeah. And it's kind of a weird balance between like stuff that you genuinely think would be good and want to work on and are excited about, and what people want. It's the Venn. Everything in the world is a Venn diagram, for the record. But that's the
everything in the world.
Yes, everything. Well, it either is or isn't, or sometimes it's both. But yeah, that's the trick, is finding those. I mean, that's marketing essentially. That's running a business. Is what can I do that I like and that I'm not going to be depressed if I do,
right?
That other people will pay money and attention for.
Dude, that's the that's kind of the promise of like making a business on the internet.
Yep.
Heck, that's just the promise of making your own business. Like, find something that you like doing that other people will support you to do.
Yeah.
What are some things that you've learned here that you're planning on implementing when you get back home?
Hard-hitting questions from Wren.
So hard. So hard. Yeah. I mean, I'm more excited than ever to make short films, and to I really like how you guys do the BTS on stuff too, and that's something that we haven't really been able to figure out well for our channel, is doing BTS of stuff, because we'll put out a film, and kind of like you guys said, it's like people are really on my channel for the tutorials, and we'll put out a film and it's like way less views, but some people really like it, and then even less people want the behind the scenes of the film. And it's just like, but that's the fun part, and so I would love to figure out how to do that in maybe a more cinematic or entertaining way, or maybe more sustainable way. Yeah,
that's really tricky, because like you have to apply the same filmmaking techniques you apply to everything else.
Yeah,
like if you want someone to watch it behind the scenes, it's like it needs to be as well constructed and pointed and like message and educational and entertaining as like everything else that's on YouTube too. It's like, it requires a lot of energy
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of vision, which is like hard to do for a behind the scenes. You know?
And something that I guess it makes sense because the show we worked on was a reality show. And so I know this is going to be crushing for everyone, but reality shows, there's a lot of stuff that isn't real in reality shows. All right. It's not all exactly how it happened. And it's not just in editing, but it's completely making stuff up. Right. And I've noticed like for the storytelling aspect of the behind the scenes videos and stuff, there is some of that here, you know, of, okay, well, we didn't actually talk about this because we already knew this, but we have to talk about it for camera so that everybody understands this and knows. And so it's like, it's not exactly how it happened, but it's recreating this part, you know, and recreating the you know, the CG on your screen and all that stuff, and kind of going through that for the good of the behind the scenes. And that makes sense because I'm like, that's what we did in the reality show too. Like, that's interesting. And I guess I never thought of doing that. I was always like, oh, well, we should have had a camera rolling the whole time, you know? And it's like, but it's gone now. It's like, it's okay. You can recreate it for the storytelling aspect of that. And I think it plays really well, you know? So sorry. Yeah. I broke the suspension of disbelief on all your guys' videos.
No, it's okay. It's written on the teleprompter behind me right here.
Oh yeah.
You're still on the script. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay, good. Also, Niko,
we want people to think that we're actually being spontaneous.
Handsome and talented.
Yep. All spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't their cameras conveniently there? Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. Poor Dre. His world is destroyed. Ooh, a Wren diagram.
A Wren diagram, yeah.
See,
haven't heard that one before.
You have a beautiful hoodie. This is from Sam. Sam gave me this as a present.
Oh,
This Akira-inspired hoodie. Yep.
Well, Casey, I think we're kind of getting to the end of this podcast sesh here. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience?
Oh, boy. I think these guys are just as great in real life as they are on the TV, on the old TV screen.
That's right. So if you don't like
a very
us on
kind
TV,
lie.
and hate us in real life.
Yeah.
I'm mean
Just as
in real
bad
life.
as I am on TV.
You guys have been very welcoming, and we instantly felt like part of the team, and really thankful for that. And
Well, you also make very good
Yeah,
sandwiches.
you made a bunch of sandwiches for everybody.
Dude, we made so many
Yeah.
sandwiches.
That was the gesture that really folded you into the
but
everybody.
It's a real fact. All right, this is strategic. All right, I strategize a lot on things, and we made strategic sandwiches because we know that if you make someone a sandwich, you become better friends with them.
It's true.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
It's true.
You can't eat a sandwich somebody made for you by hand and be like, nah, that guy sucks. It doesn't happen very often. You know, maybe at Subway.
Yeah, maybe at Subway.
That's about it.
Subway.
All right. We're going to bring our podcast to a close, but we're going to continue the party afterwards on corridordigital.com and just hang out with people and do a little live chat. So
check out the Casey Faris channel.
Yeah. Check out the Casey Faris channel. It's some good stuff. Lots of tutorials, lots of information, getting you off of Adobe onto Resolve.
That's right.
If that's the transition you're looking to make.
It's free.
That's true.
Free.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
And 3, 2, 1.